Hello, ninth grade. Welcome to your rundown video for week 7 of our hybrid instruction. As always, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what this week has in store for you. And this week, pay close attention because it's a little bit different from what we've done in previous weeks. So first of all, I want to kind of recap where we've been. Our project and our focus in humanities has been all on this concept of food insecurity and food deserts and underserved communities. We've talked a lot about what they are. We've talked about the origins of these food deserts, and we've also talked about the complications and implications and consequences of living in food deserts. We've brought it to more present times and looked at how food insecurity and living in food deserts correlated with COVID vulnerability. And then we've also talked about just last week about how establishing access and opening up new grocery stores is not enough to really address this problem. And so now this week, our focus in humanities is going to be on how urban gardening is a successful and effective and critical tool in closing this gap in access. Okay, so if you're looking at your classwork view on Google Classroom, you'll notice that week 7 is pretty light, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But the resource that I'm wanting you to review so that you can learn about how urban gardening is closing the access gap is number 2. So if you open up number 2, there are a few different resources that we're going to review, and each of these are featuring Ron Finley. Ron Finley is he's become a bit of an icon and an activist and an advocate for urban gardening. He lives in South Central LA, which is a food desert. So you're going to learn about his experience and his sort of transformative moment where he realized that growing your own food could be the answer. And he's a really powerful individual. So I hope that you'll enjoy learning about him and his experience and his message. So we have a quick 5-minute sort of introduction. Then we have a 10-minute TED Talk, which is really powerful. Pay close attention. And then we have an interview. So Ron Finley did a master class, which is something that you can pay to sort of go through yourself, where he talks about how to garden and he gives you some insight. And then Masterclass actually did a follow-up interview with Ron Finley, and they reference the masterclass a lot. So this is on YouTube. It's about an hour long, really interesting and really insightful. So these are the 3 different resources that I'm expecting you to review this week as a part of sort of this transition from learning about food deserts to solutions, and specifically urban gardening as a tool for closing that access gap. Okay, we're going to move on to the last little note on for your module this week. Now, number 3 is not an assignment. It's just sort of a disclaimer, and I'm going to read it for you. But essentially, because we are getting towards the end of the school year, many of you, if you are on the DNF list, you might have received an email from Camille saying that if you are still failing by the end of this coming week, so by the 28th, if you still have a D or an F, then you will be going to school on campus for summer school to make up that missing class or that failed class. And so, in an effort to help you to pull out of the D or F list, I have intentionally made asynchronous work this week light, because I want to give you all the time that you need in order to work on some missing assignments or revise some lower grades, so that we can get you off of that D and F list. My goal is for all of you to finish strong this school year, and me making this week so light in terms of your assignments is my attempt and my effort at helping you to do that. So notice, yes, number 2, there's quite a few different resources here, but really I just want you to watch them and learn from them. I'm not asking you to fill out any graphic organizers or do any reading guides. I'm not asking for any Cornell notes. Really, I just want you to watch them and reflect personally. Really, the major part of this week, my hope, is that you will spend that time revising some revising some assignments that got poor grades or turning in some late or missing work. So once you've finished watching those resources, which you could potentially spread out throughout the week if you'd like, or you can do them all in a single day. That way you have the rest of the week to work on getting some missing work in. But once you've watched these resources, I'd like for you to sort of scroll Google Classroom and take a look at just your hybrid assignments, just your work since we came back. So about starting here, hybrid week 1. I want you to take a look at how you're doing in terms of your work completion in all of these different weeks, all of these previous weeks, and sort of start tackling the assignments that you have missing. All right. So if you can get your work in and get your grade from wherever it is now to passing, and then keep it there through the end of the school year, you could potentially be saving yourself summer school. And of course, as always, I'm available for office hours if you need support. We are still going to be having our protected time for humanities work when you're on campus. And then additionally, of course, as always, if you have questions or if you're needing support outside of office hours, you can shoot me an email and I'll make some time for you. So that's what we've got going on this week. We're kind of continuing our exploration of food deserts and sort of wrapping up that journey with some solutions and tools, focusing really on urban gardening. And then also sort of finding the time to get in some late work so that we can all finish this year strong. If you have questions, of course, reach out. Otherwise, good luck and I'll see you this week.